John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast. John Anik and Kenny Florian.
I f***ing love them. I can't get enough of them.
Let's hear that Boston next.
Big jab there from Duffy, and Frank Mir is hurt now. Down goes Duffy, called. Frank Mir does it again. Rock'em sock'em robots here. Oh my goodness.
Hyperbole. There are a couple of absolutely self-involved bullshit artists.
Here are your hosts, John Anik and Kenny Florian.
Headshot, bang.
Hey, Yousri, you want a title fight? Let's go for that. Ken Flo.
That headband, dude, is amazing. It's so
You
good.
made the mistake of dropping a let's go for that in our pre-show meeting, which prompted
Yes.
me to pull out my BJP headband, a gift from Yousri Prochazka at UFC 320, and it says let's go for that right on the front. Just an amazing gift. You know, I loved when Shavkat Rakhmonov brought chocolates from Kazakhstan, but in terms of gifts from fighters and fighter meetings, let's go for that. This headband from Yousri Prochazka takes the cake.
Awesome.
All right, great to have everybody with us. Hope you had a good weekend. Ken Flo, how was your weekend, my man?
It was good, man. Did a lot of shooting, trying to get better at that, and got sunburned and pulled my adductor. But other than that, you know, the groin is injured, dude. Don't get old, guys. Don't get old and pretend you can run around because you pull groins and stuff. Yeah.
Groin injuries are tough.
Yeah.
And I do think as a retired athlete in your late 40s, and for me, a non-athlete in my late 40s, you just have to be very mindful and focused when there's any athletic endeavor that isn't just your basic strength and conditioning or running. So I'm trying to dunk a basketball in the rain yesterday, and I thought maybe I hyperextended my left knee. I'm fine, right? I'm dramatic anyway. I'm fine. No injury, no pain right now whatsoever. Complete bitch in the moment, right? But I don't know if it's a hyperextension or if I yanked. It felt like the kneecap sort of went, and I'm like, oh no. And then I'm fine. But you just have to be focused, or you rip something, because not a lot of us are stretching properly, and groins take a long time to heal. So
Falling apart, kid.
Yeah.
Falling apart. Yeah.
So any competitive practical shooting in the future, Ken Flo, or no?
I'm probably going to do a little break. I got stem cell treatment coming up, next week or the end of this week I'm leaving. And so I have to take it easy for a little bit. Not that feel like I've been taking it easy for 2 years, but physically, so take a little break for about a month and a half or something like that. And then I can kind of get back into stuff. I guess they want the body to kind of be chill after something like that. But so a 45-day break, I think.
So you're going to CPI.
Yes.
Scotty and the boys taking care of you.
Yep. The best.
So this is a long time coming for you.
Oh my gosh.
And
oh my gosh.
I'm excited for you to be out the other side. See, Ken Flo's got a good relationship with pain, you know?
Yes.
To quote great Truett Haynes, right? It's just pain.
Dude,
So-
it's been 20 years with this damn back injury, and the last couple years it's been worse and worse and worse. So it's time.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
So to that end, we're actually going to come to you live this Sunday, October 19th, I believe, right after the UFC's Vancouver card. I think that's Sunday morning before you get into the NFL, if that is indeed your desire, because Ken Flo's going wheels up. Where are you going? Mexico? Tijuana? Where are we going?
Yeah. So chill in San Diego for a day or two, and then Tijuana. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll hit up your
Tijuana.
guy Dominic Cruz. Yeah, hit up Dominic Cruz, and
Yeah,
maybe you
DC.
guys can convene. All right, well, great to have everybody with us live or eventually after the fact. It is Monday, the 13th of October. The year is 2025. It is episode 571 of the Anik and Florian podcast. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. So I bought a record player this weekend. It's a cheap one, but I started getting into buying records. My younger brother is a big collector. Our ESPN MMA executive Glenn Jacobs is a big collector. My daughter Riley collects. So I finally decided to take the plunge, and my goodness, it seems like it's going to be a fucking money pit. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here with these vinyl records, right? But I got the record player yesterday. We got a storm here in Connecticut, and I'm so excited. Take it out of the box, put the thing together, and, I broke the needle.
No.
So my younger brother, not to suggest that he's like holier than thou, but the text message reads, I've had record players for 25 years and never broken a needle nor stylus, Well, fuck you, man. I'm 0 for 1, right? So I'm on the verge of tears, right? Like, I'm so pissed, and it's supposed to double as a Bluetooth player. The thing won't even fucking turn on, right? And I'm texting my daughter, like, I'm going to return all my records. Like, she's like, well, can I have the role model one? And I'm like, how about I'm sorry, Dad, that you broke the fucking needle. She's asking for my record. I'm trying to go return all these things. So I ordered some replacement needles. I don't know if I'm going to take a baseball bat to the record player or try to get it to work, but I'll update you next week on the program. So we have a lot to get into today. We're going to talk about Charles Oliveira. We got Ray Longo, who is in Las Vegas, I guess, for Dana White's Contender Series. Mm-hmm. He's coming up in 22 minutes, and he has been afforded the opportunity to join us later. So if he comes on and complains about the time or is particularly groggy, we just want to make everybody aware that we would have taken him at 9:30 or 10 a.m. Pacific if he so desired. So right. See the extent to which Ray is ornery coming up in about 22 minutes. And then we have a massive Fight Night coming up in Vancouver. So we will get into all of that as well, and some other MMA news and notes, time permitting as well. Headlines is brought to you by Cuervo. Now's a good time to enjoy the tequila that invented tequila. So Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira made a decision to fight in front of fans in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, against knockout artist Rafael Fiziev a few months after getting knocked out unceremoniously, or ceremoniously if you're Team Topuria, back in late June. Mm-hmm. Fiziev out, Mateusz Gamrot in. And say what you want about the Gamrot stylistic challenge versus Rafael Fiziev, but this was a big spot for Charles Oliveira in a career full of them, Ken Flo. He delivers once again. He extends 2 huge UFC records. He lights up an entire nation. And, for me, there's one reason for me to grow out my hair in life. One, and it's to dye it blonde to be a member of Team Oliveira, even if for 72 hours. What do you make of the future Hall of Famer, Ken Flo, Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira?
Yet another submission win for Charles Oliveira. Just amazing stuff from him all the way around. This was a guy who it seemed like he was ticked off and wanted to make an example out of Gamrot. He was aggressive from the get-go, was stalking immediately, was not giving Gamrot a whole lot of room or space to move or breathe. And was just aggressive throughout and just brilliant even when he got taken down, because that's the threat, is when you move forward, you can get taken down by a good wrestler like a Mateusz Gamrot. But it didn't matter. He was offensive off of his back, as he always is, attacking that omoplata, reversed, got on top, and just dominated for the rest of the fight. Just another brilliant performance from one of the best finishers I think we will ever see in UFC history. And to do it in Brazil with that crowd, man, I had chills watching.
So I don't get fear of missing out or find myself yearning to be in foreign countries when the UFC is doing live events. You know where I'm going here. I've done 29 or 30 shows in Brazil. I have an undeniable affinity for that nation and for Charles and for Diego Lima and the Shootbox Academy and the way they go about their business. And, I do find myself envious of their tight-knit bond. I mean, a lot of teams have it, certainly Team Nurmagomedov and a lot of teams, but what a big moment in UFC history for a non-title fight, Kenny. And I found myself just desiring to be there and having the chance to lose my voice, putting a capstone on a huge win, for this just absolute legend of a fighter.
Yeah, likewise, man. I wanted to be there as well. There's nothing like a big, aggressive, excited Brazilian crowd. And it was exactly that on Saturday night. And to have one of their heroes, Charles Oliveira, look that good. I mean, it gave them a lot of reason to celebrate. Everything about it, him running into the crowd, it was awesome. Jose Aldo retired. I mean, the whole thing was just beautiful for the country of Brazil, which I have many fond memories.
Yeah, Ken Flo lived there for 6 months. Spent a lot of time there. Kenny and I, in our formative years, if you want to say that, as UFC broadcasters, called a ton of fights over there. Yeah. And Yeah, I mean, there was a time, and I think for a lot of our listenership and our viewers right now, Kenny, they don't necessarily remember this time, but in 2013, we had television deals in Brazil with Globo and Combate. We were there 7 times a year for 6 fight nights and a pay-per-view. I wasn't calling the pay-per-view. I was going there 6 times a year for the fight nights. And 2013, of course, the year of Vitor Belfort and everything else. And fight nights in all these different places. Fortaleza right on the equator with no air conditioning. I remember Lyoto Machida fighting CB Dalloway in a main event. Lyoto's walking the octagon at like 3:45 a.m. The fans are falling asleep. Everybody's fucking schwitzing. It was a crazy time. But if you asked me to give you 60 seconds on the Australian MMA fans and crowds, I could do that. Or to talk to you about the British fight fans, I could do that. But yes, it is a unique MMA environment, and it seemed particularly special in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So here's a tweet on X from Aaron Bronstetter. The best place to hold a BMF fight between Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira is Toronto. A better fight than most divisional title bouts, neutral site, and arguably the 2 most popular fighters in the country. So that's a Canadian MMA journalist making a case for Toronto. But wherever this fight were to happen, and I think Toronto makes a ton of sense. Were you with me in Saskatoon, or was that a Brian Stand fight night when these two fought in 2015? You probably would remember it if you were there.
I don't think I was there. Yeah.
Man, it was freezing. It was when I first got to know Cody Garbrandt a little bit, and I learned about his concussive history and in a hotel room with our amazing late makeup artist, Susie Freetom. But this was, over 10 years ago in Saskatoon, and Charles Oliveira got injured very early on in this fight. So this one, it makes so much sense on so many different levels. Certainly Team Holloway, I think, has a case for an undisputed lightweight title fight. And I think Charles really has a case in a lot of respects as well. But I think it makes sense as a BMF title fight, whether it's in Toronto or anywhere else, Ken Flo. I'd imagine your appetite is healthy for that one, yes?
Oh my goodness. I would love to see that fight. That's the kind of fight that is just tailor-made for something like the BMF title, and 2 guys who are absolute legends in their respective countries and all over the world, and they're exciting as hell. You can't there's no way that can be not be an exciting fight, just the way that they fight in their history. I love it. But yeah, Canada's pretty damn cold, dude. It's next level cold for sure.
I'm starting to experience subpar weather for the first time again.
Right.
I moved to Nevada in 2011 and then Florida in 2015 and now here in New England. And they delayed school today 2 hours. 2 hours today because of rain and everything else. I'm actually in my mind deciding whether or not I want to tell a story about an interaction I had with a public figure at a high school this weekend. I think I'm going to tell it right now. And then we'll get back to Mateusz Gamrot, Charles Oliveira, and Max Holloway and everybody else. So I'm in the parking lot. I take my daughter and her friend to homecoming. And I'm leaving the parking lot. And there are these 2 gentlemen who are walking in the middle of the parking lot. And pick a side, gentlemen. You can go to the left or the right, but pick a side, right? And they weren't picking a side. So I sort of inched up in my Volvo X90. And the taller gentleman on the inside sort of was getting ready to sort of glare/glance at me. So I'm game. I'll have a stare down in the middle of the parking lot. So I look to my left, and it's the manager of the New York Yankees, Aaron fucking Boone.
No way.
So I keep driving my navy blue XC90, and I'm trying to decide if I want to turn around and get obnoxious on him, but we kept going. I'm sure I'm blowing my producer Cody Merrow's mind right now.
That is wild, dude.
But yeah, I mean, unmistakably Aaron Boone, and we wish the New York Yankees incidentally better luck next year in 2026. So thrill versus agony, we talk about it all the time. Mateusz Gamrot made a decision. It did not pan out, and I've been talking for 10 years on this podcast about 2-year championship setbacks. And whether you subscribe to that theory or not, when you're a lightweight in the top 10 and you lose a fight, more often than not, it's a 2-year championship setback, minimally. whether you take the fight on short notice doesn't factor into the equation. And this is a monumental career setback, at least in terms of championship aspirations for Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going to read a statement to you from his head coach, the great Mike Thomas Brown, MTB out of American Top Team, former WEC champion, chief corner for Mateusz Gamrot. I'm going to get Kempflo's thoughts on the other side. We win together, we lose together. I'm truly heartbroken for my friend Mateusz Gamrot, but I always admire his courageousness. Gamrot is not afraid of big challenges and taking big risks. He landed in Florida 3 weeks ago to start his training camp for a UFC headliner scheduled for November 8th. Second day in America, he heard the news of Fiziev pulling out of his fight with Charles Oliveira. So like the soldier wanting to go to battle, he campaigned hard for the opportunity to fight the Brazilian legend. A few days later, he secured the fight, so Mateusz trained hard for about 12 days, jumped on a plane to Brazil and took his shot. It's always a gamble every time you step in the cage, and this time the gamble didn't pay off. The fight didn't go our way, but Gamrot still maintains that same warrior spirit and the passion like no other. He is truly one of a kind, and a lot of his teammates can speak to this. This man truly is one of one. Mike Brown goes on to say, I think the fans have great respect for his willingness to fight anywhere under any circumstance. In 30 professional fights, this was the first time he was ever finished. When you're fighting the absolute best fighters on planet Earth, this is a possibility and bound to happen eventually. Charles himself is a legend and a former champion, yet he too has stumbled in the past. My point is, I still believe in Mateusz and still believe he can be champion one day. It was a tough loss and a hard pill to swallow, but all we can do at this point is get better. We can always get better. So I really wanted to ask you about the last part of that statement. It's a lot to unpack, but Mike Brown's point, and I quote, is I still believe in Mateusz and still believe he can be champion one day. So certainly Mateusz Gamrot on his best night with an optimal 8-week training camp, maybe he could be the UFC lightweight champion. But I think if I were to ask Ken Flo analytically, and I might call his next fight, so it's not my point to say, right? But I would ask you if the window maybe has closed at this point in time, and then what is the risk versus reward of taking this, right? Because if the goal, like it was for you, was to be the undisputed UFC lightweight champion, then I don't really want to hear about 12 days or, 3 weeks or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're going to take this opportunity monetarily or otherwise, you have to sort of accept the consequences that come with it. And I think it's going to be very hard at this point for Mateusz Gamrot to get back into a title eliminator, never mind a title fight, as much as it pains me to say.
Yeah, listen, the 155-pound division has long been the most competitive and the deepest division. So with a loss, you do get pushed back down the line, and there are so many hungry killers that are going to jump ahead of you as a result. And I agree. I think as a fighter, you take some risks, and you have to understand that if you lose, that's going to happen. You're going to get pushed back down the line again. And yeah, it's unfortunate. I think every fighter gets affected differently by having these short notice fights. Some guys, it's like, it's better for them because mentally they're like, you know what? I don't have to be as nervous for as long, or my body doesn't get broken down as long for a long training camp, whatever it is. Other guys like, I'm always in shape. For other guys, it can affect you mentally because you didn't have that long camp. You don't know that, your body and your mind knows that you didn't put in all that effort and training and, calculations as far as videotape and all that stuff week after week. So, you have to take that in consideration when you're taking these fights. And, I think stylistically it was the right fight to take. It just, for me, I don't think Mateusz Gamrot had the skills to be able to beat a guy like Charles Oliveira that night. But that's that.
Right. And who knows how many lightweights would have beat Charles on this fateful night in Brazil. Great. But Max Holloway right now has earned a shot at the undisputed UFC lightweight title. And I think there's a huge segment of Team Holloway that would be like, with respect to Charles and the BMF belt, we just did that against Dustin Poirier. I know we have history with Ilia Topuria. I know we have the Paramount Plus deal, and Patty Pimblett on Instagram is saying, does anybody want to sign up to fight me? Lightweight's tough, man. Max is worthy. So when is Gamrot's number going to come around? Never mind Arman Sarukyan and all of these other guys. Dan Hooker, of course, is fighting him, and everybody else. Beneil Dariush, Benoit Saint-Denis. It is absolutely ruthless. Yeah, dude, of course. Thank you for mentioning Justin's name in the mix. Perhaps the guy who has that inside track for the title fight. I don't know. But Charles Bronx Oliveira, I mean, he's got 3 faces tattooed on his chest. Like, maybe I'll get fucking his on mine. Like, I mean, how do you not love Charles Oliveira? I know you do, right? Like, you must have met him, called some of his early fights at some point, no?
Yeah. I called some of his early fights. I haven't met him actually, but to see what he's done with his career and how he matured and how he really worked so hard to become a world-class fighter is just amazing. He always had the potential. He was always exciting. He was always dynamic, but honing in on those fundamentals and honing in on the mental game and the consistency is something that is extremely difficult to do. And to see Charles do that at this point and become a legitimate superstar in this sport after having been a champion in, again, the most difficult division in the UFC, it's awesome to watch. And I do hope that they make this BMF title between him and Holloway. I think it would be fantastic. And it was awesome. Him raising his son, was it? Air?
Dominic, I believe.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I do believe the timing, the calendar does align for that. As much as I am campaigning for Holloway to potentially fight for the undisputed lightweight title in terms of that ultimate prize and becoming a 2-division champion, I do believe that makes a lot of sense right now for Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway. But my goodness, no matter how many times I meet Charles or see Charles or do a fighter meeting with Charles, it's like I'm always starstruck. And I finally did ask him for a picture in Perth a couple of years ago when he was there as a guest fighter.
What do you think? What do you think about the nickname changed going to the Predator?
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, I have not acknowledged it. But
he kind of fought like a predator.
Yeah, he did. No, and that's the thing. He fought really well. Like if you sort of scale it back to the mixed martial arts, he just fought an outstanding fight. But I was one of the people who I think defended, coming back a few months after a devastating concussion because it's Charles "Do-Bronx" Oliveira. And, he just has so many ways to win. I mean, you're looking at the omoplata attempts and the arm isolations early on. I mean, danger factor high. Who's not following Charles "Do-Bronx" Oliveira? Go ahead, Ken Flo. Sorry.
And I love the fact that he did not fight like a man who was knocked out, at all. He was just from the get-go. He was out there to get the knockout himself. Yeah. That's how he was fighting, and you love to see it.
All right, congratulations to Charles "Do-Bronx" Oliveira. Congratulations to our producer, Cody Merrow's favorite fighter, Davison Figueiredo, getting it done in the co-main event by split decision over Montel Jackson. So, 2-year championship setback on one side for Montel Jackson. Don't at me. But, Kempflo, what'd you think of the co-main event? It goes to the cards, a split for the local, so to speak, Davison Figueiredo.
It wasn't the most exciting fight in the world, but Figgy came in shape. He looked confident, looked totally different coming off that Sandhagen fight. And when I saw him come out and look as good as he did physically, I was like, this is going to be a tougher fight than I imagined. And Montel Jackson, for whatever reason, was not throwing a whole lot of volume. Just it seemed like he was out there to try to counter repeatedly. And yeah, you could argue, yes, he's more of a counter fighter, but you have to go and get it, especially if you're fighting a Brazilian in Brazil. You got to do something about that. You can't just expect to just win rounds over there, no matter where you are, right? The sport is nuts. So I didn't see a guy that was out there to win like the fight and dominate the fight. I saw a guy that was out there to try to steal rounds and squeak out a victory. And that is something that you cannot expect to do on a consistent basis in the UFC. And unfortunately for Montel, he's going to have to learn that hard lesson. And congratulations to Figueiredo, who looked really good, was aggressive with his takedowns and was successful a couple times. It was close, no doubt. But I don't think Montel Jackson did himself any favors.
Right. And as we talked about on the show last week, this was his shot.
Yep.
And his shot against a former champion. There aren't that many of those at 135 pounds. And opportunity missed for Montel Jackson. Does your hat say Dead Air? What an amazing name for a business. Is that a shooting company?
Dead Air. It is. They make suppressors for rifles and guns and different things like that. Yeah.
So that's in our television business, right? Dead air can be a really good thing on television, on radio, not so much, but it sounds like a great podcast partner.
That's right.
Podcast sponsor.
Hit us up, Dead Air.
Yeah, the Ray Longo Minute is brought to you by Dead Air, which you will never get on the Ray Longo Minute because the dude goes wall to wall. All right, we are going to touch on Tommy Aspinall and some other UFC Fight Night items before we do get to Raymond. Joel Alvarez over Vicente Luque. Ken Flo 30-26 times 3. Your thoughts on Joel?
What a damn fight. I mean, these guys were kind of tailor-made to fight each other, and it was exciting all the way through. Hell of a fight. Alvarez, though, just too good, man. You know, there were some questions as to whether he'd be able to go up to 170 and look so good against a true veteran in that weight class, a dangerous guy. But he looked phenomenal against Luque. Just was winning pretty much every aspect of the fight. He was quicker. He was more aggressive. He was slicker on the ground. Just a tremendous performance from this Spaniard who I think can go very far in this sport, man.
No doubt. And I think now in a more natural weight class frame looks just fine at 170 pounds. Congratulations to Vitor Petrino getting a huge knockout on the prelims and the accompanying bonus. Did you see Bia Mesquita, by the way?
I did not.
So Bia Mesquita, congratulations to her. She gets the bonus as she submits Irina Alexieva with the rear naked choke.
Dude, jiu-jitsu legend.
Mario Pinto, you know, an interesting heavyweight to keep an eye on. He got by Jonata Janice. Any thoughts on Pinto before we move on, Ken?
I thought Pinto looked good. You know, obviously an awesome striker, and I think he surprised everybody when he decided to kind of grapple and take down Janice. Was very effective there. Nasty ground and pound, good positioning overall, and really flipped the script, I think, on everybody and showed that he's more than just a striker. He's a true mixed martial artist and looked really good in that tough division.
All right. I would like to read you a tweet right now, if I could. Do we still call them tweets on X? Cody, you were born in the 1990s. We still call them tweets. Anyway, I wrote this morning, Ken Flo, 12 days until one of the biggest pressure spots in UFC history as Tom Aspinall makes the first defense of his undisputed heavyweight title in Abu Dhabi. So later this week, you and I on UFC Fight Pass on the Anik and Florian Rewind are going to look back and do sort of a career retrospective on Tom Aspinall. We're going to look back at a decent chunk of his UFC history. I know a lot of the fights are short, but I think 4 or 5 fights. I know there's pressure in every spot. I know you felt pressure in all 12 of your UFC wins and the few UFC losses, maybe even more pressure, right? But given what the last 2 years have held for Tom Aspinall, he has fought 60 seconds in the last 2 years against Curtis Blaydes. Never mind the 1 year that he missed due to the injury after the first Curtis Blaydes fight.
Mm-hmm.
He is making the first defense of his undisputed title against Ciryl Gane, a very challenging heavyweight to fight in some respects, maybe a little bit less challenging in others. Tom Aspinall is favored, perhaps prohibitively so for some of you. But I can't think of a bigger pressure spot in recent UFC memory. I mean, maybe Adesanya against Alex Pereira.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you know, if Renato Moicano can't afford to lose, then how would we describe Tom Aspinall's lack of affordability to suffer a loss on October 25th?
It would be a massive, massive upset, I think, on the level of a Matt Serra upset over George St. Pierre. And, you know, the news has been around Tom Aspinall fighting John Jones. And the news around that has been John Jones doesn't want to fight Aspinall because he knows he's going to get murdered, right? Everyone expected Aspinall to run right through him. He's the next big thing, yada, yada, yada. So for him to lose to Ciryl Gane, I think would be wild. It would be crazy news. And I think that he might be feeling some of those expectations. You know, especially the UFC is kind of looking for him to be that next big thing at heavyweight. The heavyweight, title has always been the most coveted title in combat sports. For good reason. And, you know, Aspinall's that guy. And if he loses it, man, that'd be wild.
So mixed martial arts is so wild. It's crazy to think about doing an Anik and Florian podcast on October 26th with Ciryl Gane as the undisputed heavyweight champion. And potentially at that point in time, we'd be talking about a rematch between those two, right? But Tom Aspinall wants to defend this title and be an active heavyweight champion. And if you look at the recent history of the UFC heavyweight title, even spanning the last 5 years, this belt has not been on the line very often. It has sat idle. We've had Stipe Miocic fight for it at 38 and then fight for it again at 42 or 43 years of age. We've had Daniel Cormier's career and unceremoniously inside the fucking UFC apex in a global pandemic as those two completed their trilogy, right? This sport is in an amazing position right now. Look no further than the Paramount Plus deal, right? But for Tom Aspinall to serve as the favorite and take care of business in Abu Dhabi and potentially defend this belt on CBS or Paramount Plus first quarter 2025, that's what mixed martial arts fans are talking about. Now we'll get to the White House stuff in a little bit. That could be a wrinkle in some of these things. Yeah. And nice for the UFC, by the way, to have this $7 billion television deal to maybe hold some of their stars for the White House, to already have that television deal done. But there is so much pressure on Tom Aspinall to do what I just mentioned, just given the John Jones saga, can't look too far ahead. But yeah, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see if he shoots. Does he strike? Fascinating.
And John, Cyril Gane is a good fighter. He's a very good fighter who has nothing to lose. And I think he's in second place for me, especially in that division when it comes to athleticism. He's one of the few guys that can match the footwork and athleticism of Aspinall. I think Aspinall still has that extra gear, but he's close. I mean, you look at the size of him. You look at the fights that he's had in the past. He could pull this off. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about, though.
Well, and you got to be tunnel visioned, right? If I'm Andy Aspinall, Tom's dad, and I see what's going on with Alex Pereira now, going to wait until the White House show, potentially move up to heavyweight and wants to fight John Jones. Thinking about those two guys fighting in a non-championship setting or trying to position for that fight would just have me sickened as a parent and coach of Tom Aspinall. Like, really, guys? But I get it. I get it. But there aren't necessarily a ton of big names for Tom Aspinall to fight. I would like to see a Volkov rematch, to see this version of Alexander Volkov, to see what he could do, just especially given the nature of his last fight against Cyril Gane. But fascinating stuff in the UFC's heavyweight division. We'll see if Tom Aspinall can get it done on October 25th with all of the pressure of the world seemingly on his shoulders. A lot of pressure always on Ray Longo. There was pressure on him to show up here this morning, and he came through. Let's get to Ray.
It's now time for the Ray Longo Minute.
I want you to punch a hole in his fucking chest. That's what I want.
The Ray Longo Minute. Starring Ray Longo. The John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast.
Look at him! Look at the motherfucker! That's what I'm talking.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Where am I? Where the hell am I?
Are you in Vancouver or Las Vegas?
Where's Kenny? I don't see Kenny.
What? I'm right here, Ray. I can see your beautiful face. What's happening? You can't see me?
I can't see you, but it's all
Hey,
good.
hey, Cody.
That's a good color on you, Raymond.
What was that?
That's a good color on you. Cody is asking you to turn the Wi-Fi on your phone off. Are you able to do that for us?
Yes.
That would be outstanding.
And he's gone. I can only hear him.
Goo-goo. I like it.
Thanks to everybody for joining us live on YouTube today, the Ray Longo Minute. Not sponsored today, incidentally, but it has been coming your way here on the Anik and Florian podcast on the DraftKings Network and on YouTube for the last 10 years successively. We still have audio from Ray. We're just getting him situated. Yeah, I think that's better. So we have a lot to get into with you. You're in Las Vegas for Dana White's Contender Series. Is that accurate?
Network connection was tap to retry.
So your camera is off. We hear what you're saying about the connection, but it's okay.
Holy shit.
Hey, Ray.
Let's try something.
Ray Longo is buffering at the moment. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Where's his camera?
So Ray Longo might have
It's way off.
Case of the
Let me
Mondays.
try loading.
Yeah, thanks for muting him. Right, I know maybe bloopers are fun for content, but yeah. So Matt Frevola fights this weekend in Vancouver.
Yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And Ray Longo has a gentleman, I think last name Freddie Vidal, fighting on the Contender Series tomorrow night. So that's why Raymond is on the West Coast.
There he is.
Wow, huh? All right. Well, Ray, this is really scintillating stuff, Ken Flo. Scintillating stuff.
He's
So,
frozen right now.
I have a lot of things that we could talk about.
Kenny, you're killing me. Hold on a second.
Cody, can
What
we
a piece of shit this is. Holy crap. I can't even get out of here and restart it.
Can he
Cody
just do it
says
on his
turn the
phone?
Wi-Fi back on.
Wait a minute. Yeah,
Is that what he's saying?
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, turn the Wi-Fi back on. Thanks to everybody for standing
That's gotta
by.
be better.
So this White House show
No?
it sounds great, Raymond. Can you give us a countdown from 10 to 5? Can you do that? And then we'll be spinning it.
Oh,
Nope.
Kenny, I finally see you. That's good.
Oh, well, that's exciting. That's
There we
exciting.
go.
That's,
What's the other guy? Where is he?
hey,
Got him. We got him.
all right.
Where's
Ray
John?
Longo Minute. Are you with us? Thank fucking God
now
it's
you're
not
frozen.
sponsored today. They want all their money back. Get him out of here. All right. So the White House card. So forget Conor McGregor, right?
Yes.
Forget John Jones, even for a second, right? The undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira, wants to fight at the White House and seemingly is not going to fight until next June, which is 8 months away. There are other fighters that strategically seemingly would be saved for this show. Right. How is Kayla Harrison not going to compete at the White House? She is, but she'll compete before then, right?
Right,
but
right.
I do think that certain fighters potentially might be held out for the White House. If you are trying to put UFC 300 to shame, then there might be some promotional appetite to keep Ilia Topuria out a year. I don't suggest that that's what's going to happen, but he fought June 29th or June 28th in and around, and then June 14th would be the White House show. But gosh, man, like if you're really looking to stack the deck and you're putting the 10 or 15 biggest superstars on the roster in that sequence, and I agree with Demetrius Johnson, by the way, that it should be active fighters who are fighting on the White House card. I'm not going to get into the whole Conor and John Jones situation, right? But, Ronda Rousey walking through that door, it's going to be interesting. An interesting challenge for the matchmakers as you simultaneously try to serve your new television masters at Paramount Plus and CBS, and also trying to keep June 14th in mind because they're going to wow with this fight card, and that's going to mean holding some people out extendedly.
You got to stack it. The UFC knows to do that. I think they will. And, every time the UFC has a fight, especially something like a pay-per-view, they have the opportunity to gain more fans. And that's what they've been doing. This is why the sport has been exploding, is because they've been putting on these great cards and people either see it live or they see it on TV and they're like, why haven't I not been watching this stuff? And, when you get extreme talent, and they perform, you're going to get people that are going to want to watch this for a long time. So, yeah, I think all eyes are going to be on this because it's at the White House, and they're going to stack this card. I think they're going to blow it out for sure.
So there's one pay-per-view left that needs to get some attention from the matchmakers. We don't have a headliner yet for December 6th, UFC 323. That is coming up pretty quickly. And there have been a couple of champions that have talked about December. And then there's maybe Alexandre Pantoja, who I guess could be featured on that card as well. But the two champions that have talked about that card are Alexander Volkanovski and Merab Dvalishvili. And John Wood sort of, I think, publicly has advised against Merab turning around, while also maybe talking out the other side of his mouth and saying, actually, his sparrings are harder than his fights, so maybe we would do that. Volkanovski versus Lerone Murphy or Movsar Evloev or Diego Lopez, perhaps that would be a fight. But there's a lot of interesting things that the matchmakers are going to really have to handle. And I think December will be chief among them. And then you're going to have guys like Henry Cejudo and other athletes that haven't been heard from in a while trying to put themselves in position. either with a win or otherwise, first or second quarter 2025, to try to compete on that White House card. Raymond, good morning. Why is this so hard in 2025? I really don't understand. We had him good at the beginning. You know, I just don't understand for the life of me how this is so hard in 2025. Just have him abort mission on all his equipment, put him on a fucking cell phone, and maybe our third attempt will be the best attempt.
Hotel Wi-Fi is touch and go sometimes. It's yeah. Oh well.
So our last fighter meeting, he's on multiple cell phones. So yeah, I wouldn't do the Wi-Fi. I would just do straight. So in our last fighter meeting with Alex Pineda, as he tried to navigate the new AirPods or earbuds that simultaneously
translate.
So we talked about fighting, right? And Alex was there for this live event. And, you know, I asked him, like, what boxes are we trying to check? Like, you can't get out of a Q&A without somebody asking you about heavyweight or Tom Aspinall or John Jones. But would you like to fight in Brazil? And certainly if you ask a Brazilian athlete a yes or no question like that, I forget what my phraseology was, but if you ask a yes or no question like that, perhaps they're not going to give you anything. But yeah, of course, you know, but you could tell even through the language barrier that Alex Pineda would like to compete in Brazil, you know, supersede his desire to compete June 14th at the White House with respect to his home nation. You know what I mean? So what do you do if you're the UFC? You know, do you give him the fight, the non-title fight with John Jones at heavyweight? Do you try to sort of strong arm him into defending the light heavyweight championship against Carlos Ulberg to maybe try to build him? Do you do a vacant light heavyweight title fight between Carlos Ulberg and Yuri Prochazka? What do you do if it's the Kenny Florian Fighting Championships when it comes to Pineda's now public desire to fight June 14th at the White House?
It's a tricky one because I think that in regards to the UFC, they're thinking about, all right, do I want to make what is the biggest fight we can make? And I think what would sell the most would be a John Jones Poatan fight. I think it'd be bigger than Aspinall, in my opinion. Okay, that's what I would like to see. However, who would be a bigger star after that? Poatan's already a big star. If you want to turn Aspinall into a bigger star, you have that fight, and Aspinall, if he wins, would be massive. So that's a tricky one. But I think that Poatan fight is the most interesting to me. However, John Jones probably doesn't want to make 205 pounds. I'm sure he'd prefer to make the heavyweight.
John Jones ain't fighting at 205.
Yeah, probably not.
And if you want Dana White to get red in the face quickly, then talk to him about a catchweight fight between John Jones and Alex Pineda at 240 pounds, right? Because Dana's going to call the shots here, you know?
Yep.
And that includes when it comes down to Conor McGregor and anybody else, you know, competing at the White House or any other desire. But it's going to be really interesting to see what they do at 205 pounds and sort of putting a bow on the serving all masters thing. What are you smirking at?
I was thinking about Connor's comment on Ireland negotiating with the United States.
Negotiating directly with the White House. So no. Right. So this is a peculiar one. You know?
Oh, he's brilliant, man. This is so good.
Peculiar one. But no, I mean, a lot of these divisions have title fights already on the books, right? Like Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev and Valentina Shevchenko and Zhang Weili and Vina Kakarajanjidova and Mackenzie Dern. None of these athletes are competing first weekend in December. I don't think Kayla Harrison. Cody, you certainly have earned the right over the course of your time as the producer of this program to give the Ray Longo Minute one more try. I'm not that much of an asshole. God, he does not look happy though, huh? He's like, I woke up early. It's 8:46 Pacific. And Ray.
Yeah, it's not loading, Cody. I can see.
Can you hear us?
I could hear you, but I can't see.
Well, we don't care about anything other than you hearing
we can
us
see
and us hearing you.
Not the voices. It's all fucking mangled.
Damn.
Just another manic Monday, to quote the Bengals.
You want to just do a phone interview? I don't know.
We could put you on the phone. I don't need to see your face. That would be fantastic. Or you could just give us a few thoughts on Charles Oliveira and Tom Aspinall. We can spin you on out of here, or we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Oh, yeah, Cody, I couldn't hear a fucking thing.
Damn.
Our social media producer, Mike Jones, shout out to Media Zone, is probably salivating at least some of the one-liners he's gotten from Raymond, such as Cody, I can't hear a fucking thing, But I was really wanting to tap into the Ray Longo Pacific time zone mood, and I would imagine he is off to Vancouver to corner Matt Frevola in a very interesting fight against Kyle the Monster Nelson this weekend. So, all right, well, code blue. Sorry, it's a code red today, and it didn't work out, but you can certainly let me know when Petrie gets on in here. But we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled programming and just sort of putting a bow on serving all masters in first quarter 2026 and how to attack this last pay-per-view of 2025. Kayla Harrison, right? I don't know how many more bantamweight cuts she has in her, right? And none of us knows what the future holds, right? Like sometimes I do feel like she's too tough physically and mentally and emotionally and spiritually for her own good, and that maybe there could be a price to be paid to do this multiple times, and maybe there's already a physiological price being paid. But the Amanda Nunes fight is enormous. Ronda Rousey is training hard, and she doesn't look like she's training just to get back in shape, I think it'd be foolish to not have as many Olympic gold medalists and Olympians as possible on the White House card. I don't know if Daniel Cormier is silently training for this reason or not, but dude, I mean, would you put it past DC, right? To come out of retirement? I mean, he's clean, Would you put it past Daniel Cormier to come out of retirement to compete on the White House card for $15-20 million?
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I think he would. Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you're Amanda Nunes, and I guess Ray Longo's absence affords me the direction to sort of empty out my brain and go in a lot of different directions. Are you trying to fight Kayla Harrison ASAP, which means as soon as possible, or do you want as much time as possible? Like, what is your methodology when it comes to fighting Kayla Harrison? Because she's going to be the underdog because of the cycle of inactivity.
As far as Ronda, right? So
if you're Amanda.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
If you're Amanda.
Okay.
And that seemingly is going to be the next fight. Yeah, I mean, Ronda, I don't think we're Ronda has publicly said she doesn't want to fight on the White House card. So,
gotcha.
But if you're Amanda Nunes, do you want as much time as possible to face Kayla, or are you trying to spin this thing around as quick as humanly possible?
That's a good question. I think Amanda would probably want to fight as quickly as possible. Not that she needs any money right now or anything like that, but I think that with Kayla, she obviously doesn't have as much experience as Amanda Nunes. And I think the more time you give someone like Kayla, the better she's going to get. So I would imagine that she'd probably want to have a quicker turnaround. That's what I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I am fascinated to see. I don't think it'll be December. I would imagine Kayla is going to want to fight as soon as humanly possible as time continues to elapse, because she has to fight on the White House card. Like, of all of my desires for June 14th, I want to see the Stars and Stripes fighters, right? I'm talking about fighters who have walked out with the American flag of the United States of America. So Kayla Harrison, Joe Pyfer, Justin Gaethje. I mean, there are a lot of fighters, I think, like Clay Guida, I think, who is no longer on the roster, who have walked out with the Stars and Stripes. But yeah, I mean, like Joe Pyfer always putting over the U.S., right? Like, I would think that you try to get that guy a fight January or February so you can position him for June. I mean, I want patriotism to be overflowing. There were times on this podcast where we would wonder aloud why there isn't better sort of, like MMA nationalism, like in the U.S. as the country that has accomplished more in the UFC than any other, right? We're always sitting here on this show talking about how amazing the MMA fans are in Brazil and Australia. Pretty electric crowds in Las Vegas, All right, one other thing I would like to get to. So we talk about Alex Pereira, and I would imagine the UFC would love for him to defend his light heavyweight championship on Paramount Plus or CBS, right? And that's not informed speculation. It's just MMA fans sort of wondering about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you're Alex, right, with what you have done, with all the goodwill that you have established, right, you can lay back in the cut and fight on June 14th. You can say, I'm not fighting, for example, Khamzat Chimaev. You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to put together fights that the fans would like to see, right? I mean, Kenny, I know you watch 41 UFC shows a year, at least portions of them.
Yeah.
Would you like to see Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg or Khamzat Chimaev? I'd imagine you'd like to see both of those fights.
I would, but I think, Khamzat just won the title. I would like to let that breathe a little bit more. I think that, holding up a division to go against another champ at this point, I think is unnecessary. I'd like to see him fight Carlos Ulberg. I think that, I don't think by any means is that a bigger fight. The biggest fight you could make out of those two obviously would be Khamzat. But I would like to, I'd let it play. Let it play with
Ulberg. I think the Ulberg fight
yeah.
makes sense, and there is a bevy of middleweight contenders. We are going to get to Reinier de Ridder and Brendan Allen, who are the men on the marquee in Vancouver this weekend. No, divisionally, of course, it makes sense for Khamzat Chimaev to stick around. He's a former welterweight, and Alex Pereira has visions of going up to heavyweight. But if you are Alex and you have sort of buckets of leverage, right? There's risk in all of these fights. Jon Jones, Khamzat Chimaev, and Carlos Ulberg, right? And I know I'm putting you on the spot with the extra time today, but like, in which of those fights do you think Alex Pereira is the biggest underdog? Against Jon Jones, Khamzat Chimaev, or Carlos Ulberg, right? And in which of those fights is he the biggest favorite, right? So I know Khamzat's the smaller man, but matchup-wise, I feel like Alex Pereira might be a bigger favorite just given that recent result against a fellow kickboxer, Carlos Ulberg, than he would be against Khamzat Chimaev. What do you think about any of that?
I agree. I think Khamzat would, he would probably open as the favorite. I think that Jon Jones, he'd be the biggest underdog against Jon Jones, and he'd be the biggest favorite against Ulberg. But no short of exciting fights on the horizon for him.
So who do you want to see Khamzat fight at 85? Reinier de Ridder, who was outside the UFC 18 or 20 months ago? And I love Reinier de Ridder, don't get me wrong, and we're going to put a lot of shine on his name. But, I mean, who is the guy at 85? Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is on the mend. Brendan Allen's not going to get a title fight even if he wins this weekend. I love you, BA, but he'll need one more, right?
Yep.
I mean, Khamzat Chimaev versus Israel Adesanya is a fun fight, but he has lost. Nassourdini Mavov is an obvious fight right now, even if it's not moving needles that matter, Yes. I don't know.
I think Imavov and Reinier de Ridder, if he gets by Brendan Allen, I think that would be the natural way to go. Imavov's an absolute beast. So both those are good.
Wait a second. Ray wants to try again. Are you serious?
He's back. He's back.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm outside. We've never had good luck with that place. Never.
All right. So heretofore, this is the strategy.
Finally.
Are you? Where are you? Palace Station, New York, New York. What kind of fucking pit they got you in tonight?
Yeah, I'm at Palace Station.
All right. No further comments, Your Honor. So
I'm in Palace Station. I just came in from Tampa.
Wow. Oh, and he's gone. And he's gone.
He gone.
He gone.
So it is frustrating because it is a Frevola fight week. Hey, Ray.
Yes.
Are you going to Vancouver after this for Matt Frevola or not?
No.
Okay.
I'm done. I'm absolutely done. Done.
So, Sal the Bulldozer Frevola listens to the Anik and Florian podcast. He and Brian Petrie are particularly close. So, because we don't have a great connection, can I ask you about Maddie and the fight coming up with Kyle Nelson this weekend real quick?
100%. Yeah, definitely.
All right, go ahead. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a great fight for Frevola. He took a year off after the last fight, but he's looked really good. I think it's just a great fight for him. I think he's going to do really, really well, and like again, he put in a good camp, and I think that the layoff's going to do him a world of good.
Yeah.
Did it give him a chance to kind of work on some new things, or kind of just like clear his head a little bit, get better physically? Like, well, why do you say that?
Matty's Matty's a guy that, he's going forward. He's a brawler. He wants to, it's kill or be killed. So I think it gave him time to reflect on more like strategic, openings, which, hopefully will work out good for him. But, it gave him it just gave him time to reflect on a lot of things. And I think that's one of them where even when he had the 3 knockouts, I really had him concentrating just more on awareness and everything. And I think he went right back to doing that. And I think we'll see a different guy. He definitely looks better. And I'm going to say he's going to be a more calm version, but that could go right out the window in 1 second. But if he sees an opening, he'll go for it. But I think you'll see he'll go back to he has a complete game. He can wrestle. His jiu-jitsu is good. He's a good kicker. He's a solid puncher. Just got to put it together at the right time in the right place, and I think he'll be fine.
Ray, what do you think about Charles Oliveira's performance this weekend?
Unbelievable. I thought that was a great performance. Made it look easy. I mean, as soon as Gamrot got down on the floor with him once, he didn't want to go down there again, and now he's left to his stand-up, which not his highlight of his game. And that guy just stalked him. Man, he just did. But I mean, for a guy since 2000, whatever, 8, 9, whatever it was, I think he fought. Who the hell did he fight? I was looking at a fight from years ago. I mean, this guy, I think, is phenomenal for his age, and the way he handled that fight against a really tough guy in Gamrot I thought was unbelievable.
So your guy, Freddie Vidal Sassoon. You remember the shampoo, Vidal Sassoon?
I don't, John. I tell you, I didn't sleep at all for 24 hours. So yeah, I remember. I think I know who Freddie is.
So you would be sleeping right now if it were not for the Anik and Florian podcast. Is that accurate?
Oh, that would be accurate. Yeah.
So, but you didn't want like an extra 90 minutes and then to join us around 10 a.m. your time. You just said, if I'm up, I'm up, because we did afford you that opportunity today.
I don't know. That's that. Well, that's a little debatable, but did I get that opportunity?
Cody says that he gave you that opportunity, that we can take you anytime. I tell you all the time, you're the star of the show.
90
Debatable.
90 minutes is a stretch.
We can debate it.
He went 30 minutes. He had me at
Ray,
9 o'clock.
Kenny and I are in studio today until 3 p.m. Eastern time. If you really want to get down to brass tacks, if that's what they fucking say, we could have taken you at 11 a.m.
I would have taken that in a heartbeat. Cody, we bounced 9 o'clock, you said. What about 9? Or I said that. And then we went back to 8:30, so.
No.
What difference does it make?
Anyway.
No, I said I could move it, and I'll let them know.
All right. Hey, Ray, your guy, Freddie Vidal Sassoon. Bro, I'm going to lose it. Let's get to Freddie real quick before we let you go. Freddie Vidal is fighting on the Contender Series. He fought on the Contender Series on wicked short notice and won, but did not get a contract. He is getting the second opportunity tonight. He missed weight for the first one. What can you tell us about what fans are going to see out of your guy, Freddie Vidal Sassoon, tomorrow night?
From last time he was cramping up. I don't even know how he made it through the fight. So great weight cut. He looked fantastic yesterday, and I think Dana really gave the kid a great opportunity to let him come back, because he only has 4 fights. So, it's a little light what they like, but Freddie did pull out that submission last time, and I expect him to do a lot better this time, because he really, I'm not saying he had a great camp because he only had 4 weeks, but it was a big difference from last time. So he looks great, and the weight is not an issue at all. And last time it was a huge issue.
All right, man. Well, I don't know if you've had your cold brew yet, but you can certainly go hit the pillow for a couple more hours, and then you'd wake up, and it would only be 11 a.m. Pacific. But we'll let you go, buddy. We appreciate all the effort trying to come on today, and we love you. Next week, we'll get more.
100%. Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're good.
Thanks,
You're good.
Ray.
Don't
All right,
apologize.
take it easy.
It's not
Take
on
it
you.
easy, brother.
I don't know how many times I have to say that we can adjust for it to sink into Ray. This is not on Cody, right? We're going to be doing content until 3 p.m. today, right? We can reverse the order. I've said a million times to Ray if he wants to come on at 12 or 12:30 or 1 or whatever, and it just continues to fall on deaf ears, so I just don't want him to publicly put it on Cody. All right, back to the mixed martial arts conversation in 60 seconds, but NFL fans, what's your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, it's the next one because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in, from first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting. Man, I got killed this weekend. Every snap is loaded with opportunity. So we got 2 Monday Night Football games to attack tonight. Maybe look at the Buffalo Bills in a bounce-back spot. I don't know. They're 4.5-point favorites against the Atlanta Falcons. Lines and odds subject to change. But here's the best pot. New customers. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you will get $300 in bonus bets instantly credited to your account. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code AFPOD. That's code AFPOD for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets. If your bet wins, in partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer. My brother just texted me, you sure you don't want to try bringing Ray Longo back on for a 6th time? Anik and Florian podcast is a free agent, and just what you want to do in your contract year, right? Is try to get Ray 6 times in year number 10 of the program.
Fool me 5 times, it's on me.
So it's funny because Jay just texted me right now at Boston Anik, my twin brother Jason Anik, dirty boxing commentator among other things, right? NFL handicapper, right? And when we make this transition to this next segment, he is going to close the window because he does not like this particular segment. Total Wireless does. Pronunciation of the Week is brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of UFC. Get unlimited data that won't slow you down. I love this segment, and the first fighter to be featured in our Pronunciation of the Week is a new UFC middleweight, Tunisian Dutch kickboxer. His name is fonted for you on the video side. He trains at Teixeira MMA and Fitness in Danbury, Connecticut, USA. Lost on Season 7 of the Contender Series as Ken Flo studies the name. Then got a stoppage win on Season 8 of Dana White's Contender Series last year. And now 13 months later, arrives at the UFC debut. His name is spelled Yousri. Last name Belgaroui. Ken Flo, have at it.
Oh, my goodness. Yousri Belgaroui.
All right, let's hear the man, the myth.
Yousri Belgaroui.
Yousri.
Belgaroui.
I tried to get fancy.
Yousri Belgaroui or Belgaroui. It could be 3 or 4 syllables on the surname. I'm sure they will fine-tooth comb that in Vancouver. Maybe I'll even get a text message. Hey, care to phonetically help us out this weekend? Probably won't. We also, Kenny, have the file for Jazz Hands today.
Oh, no. Oh, here we go.
Got the file for Jazz Hands. We got the file for Jazz Hands, and we are very excited to handicap her fight here coming up in about 5 to 15 minutes. But first name, Jasmine like the princess. Nickname, Jazz Hands. But last name is not spelled the way it sounds. So this is a repeat on the Pronunciation of the Week. Ken Flo, how do you spell the flyweight contenders? Or excuse me, how do you pronounce the flyweight contenders' surname, if you would?
Jasudavicius. Jasudavicius. Did I get it?
Like, I've said this a million times, bro. I'm going to literally lace it twice. Cody, go ahead.
Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasmine Jasudavicius.
Jasudavicius. Oh, Jasudavicius, right? Petrie, come on here, drop a fucking Jasudavicius on you, right? Brian Petrie, if he wants to drop a Jasudavicious on us. BP, nice to see you.
What's up? I love it. What's up, boys?
How are you doing, bro?
Doing great, doing fantastic. Better than Ray Longo, I tell you. Better than Ray Longo. Currently better than Ray Longo.
Yeah.
He's struggling.
So
he's struggling.
On the MMA Takes podcast that you host, often frequented by retired Major League Baseball legend Evan Longoria, do you ever have technical issues like that, or rarely?
Yeah, with a guest, sometimes, yeah. I mean, I have tech issues all the time, but usually it's on my end, which I'm so happy and thankful it never pops up when I'm doing this show. But sometimes on my end, I have like a fucking way too expensive setup to have ever, I get the best MacBook they offer. I got this fucking Rodecaster board, right? I got all the goods. I shouldn't be having problems, but sometimes I do. Yeah. So,
how's your Wi-Fi there in Ohio?
Good. So I had a problem once on here, and then the very next week I got all new Wi-Fi. I got a router right sitting next to me, plugged right into my computer.
Yeah, you do.
So I'm like, we got to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of commitment, to what extent are we committed to this 2025 edition of the Cincinnati Bengals?
I was happy with what you said. I'm not a Jake Browning guy. Okay. I never have been. I have a better arm than Jake Browning. Okay. It takes 45 seconds for him to throw the fucking ball across the field. Joe Flacco, 40 years old, but still got that cannon.
Yeah.
And he was putting some balls in some good places. Our defense looked good. And then when Joe started to get going, our defense fell apart. So as long as he can squeak out a few games and we get Burrow back, our defense has got to be a lot better. But I'm okay. I'm okay right now. I'm not losing it, but I'm okay right now.
Yeah, Joe Flacco wearing that number 16 for the Cincinnati Bengals. One of the first athletes I ever interviewed at ESPN in 2005 in a closet was Joe Flacco after he had just been drafted by the Baltimore Ravens 20 years ago.
That's cool.
One other thing that's of note, Jake Browning, the backup quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. The last time I called a college football game in 2015 was at the University of Washington against Arizona. The Huskies beat the Wildcats 49-3, and under center that day for Chris Peterson's Washington Huskies, none other than Jake Browning.
Yeah.
Myles Gaskin in the backfield, incidentally. A lot of our MMA fans are like, I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't give us some picks. So let us dive into the main event challenge. It is UFC Fight Night. Live from Vancouver, Canada, Reinier de Ridder and Brendan Allen in the main event. We have 6 main card selections for you today. The first of which comes your way in the lightweight division, the aforementioned Matt Frevola -135. Now, Petrie's like family to these guys. He's not going to pick against the steamroller, so let's just get that out of the fucking way.
Sure.
Kyle Nelson comes back +114. Steamroll in search of his first win since that knockout of Drew Dober 2.5 years ago, Bride, UFC 288. How do you handicap his chances this weekend? My man.
Yeah, I love the Frevolas. I'm only biased really with 2 fighters, Chris Curtis and Matt Frevola at this point. Sal's the best. I love him so much, and Matt and I talk frequently. Yeah, I mean, I'm picking Frevola, right? This is a very complimentary fight for him because Kyle Nelson is very similar to him in a lot of ways. He's all gas, no brakes at a lot of times, and then he'll slow down. With Matt, though, he went all out against Benoit Saint-Denis. Looked for that knockout, got clipped, got put out in round 1, right? And then with the ZM fight, he went and tried to be more patient, but there was just not enough. Then he got clipped in that 3rd round, but he was losing beyond that as well. But right now we need to mix everything up. We need to touch the body. We need to touch the legs. We need to mix in some striking. When he thinks we're going to box, we need to wrestle. When he thinks we're going to wrestle, we need to box. Frevola obviously has big power. Anybody that clips that fucking chin of Drew Dober, they got some power. But Matty sometimes sits on it a little too much, too aggressive at times. He needs to find a middle ground and find a harness because like Matt, or what Ray said earlier, sometimes when he gets clipped or sometimes he gets hit, he just wants to go. Kyle Nelson has been put out before, but he's also on a nice little streak. I know he lost his last fight, but before that 3 in a row, and he knocked some dudes out, right? He's got power as well, so you got to be careful. I just think Matt is the more well-rounded mixed martial artist. I think his submissions are better. I think his wrestling is better, and hopefully he can prove that. I'm obviously on Frevola. That's my guy. Probably play him by knockout. If not knockout, I'll look at that submission prop because I do think if he really gets it to the ground here, there could be some openings on the ground for sure for him.
Kyle Nelson, Ken Flo, 0-2 in the UFC at 155 pounds. Missed weight for his fight against Steve Garcia last year. He moves up, I think, with finality here to lightweight division. Close fight on paper. How do you think he fares against Matt Frevola?
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a better division for him. However, I think Frevola is a tough matchup. I think this fight may be won or lost with the wrestling. I don't know if it's that simple necessarily, because I agree with BP in that Kyle Nelson does have some power. I just think Frevola is the better striker. And assuming he's been putting in the homework and improving on things, I like Matt Frevola in this position as well. I think he's fought tougher competition, and going to go with Matty Boy.
You know, you say the word homework and it just sends shivers down my spine. My daughter is a freshman in high school, like honors biology homework and geometry or whatever the math. Yeah, honors dude. Like, I cheated off a football player, Damian Nelson, on my bio final at Gettysburg College in 2001. He gave me all the multiple choice answers. They can't retroactively come get my degree, can they?
No, they can't. No, you're
all
good, dude.
Okay,
fine. You're fine.
What about that Theta Chi fraternity library, though? Some fucking French tests in there. I mean, did anybody out there with a French-English dictionary ever try to write like the answers? Like they let you bring a fucking dictionary in? Like, I don't know if I ever did it, but I would think like that would be a good idea if you had like a French-English dictionary and you could fucking write some of the answers in the back of I don't know. We got to move on here. At bantamweight, Cody Gibson minus 120. Versus Orichi Long, who is plus 100. And this is one of our favorite audio files, so we are going to trot this out there for you folks.
There he is.
My name is Orichi Long, Mongolian murderer. My name is Orichi Long, Mongolian murderer.
Scariest thing I've ever heard. Scares me.
Orichi Long. Wow.
Orichi Long, the Mongolian murderer.
It sounds like your little record player.
Yeah,
it's like in reverse though, like the devil speaking.
Right. Or he's getting like a shot in slow motion. Like, ow.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Fucking A. Anyway, it is funny to hear him say the Mongolian murderer, right? Because I don't even think he understands what he's saying, right?
No.
Like, there are times where I will peel back the curtain for you guys. There have been certain nicknames like Mongolian murderer that we haven't been allowed to say, and we certainly don't lean into it. Coming up next, the Mongolian murderer. You know,
now, it's because he murders Mongolians, or he's from Mongolia and he murders people.
This guy has for sure murdered somebody. I can guarantee you that.
On the other side, we got Cody Gibson, the slight favorite right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. Already his fifth appearance since he lost tough 31 to Brad Katona just over 2 years ago. So he's been active, coming off an L to Damon Blackshear by submission back in March. And now, BP, he draws the Mongolian murderer. Who do you love?
So glad you guys played that file of just how frightening it really is. I mean, listen, my favorite takeout at Chinese was Mongolian beef. I can't eat it anymore because this guy's frightened me. You know what I mean? I'm off the Mongolian beef because of this guy. You know, thanks, Orichi Long. But no, he is, all jokes aside, both these guys I think are kind of, they're both who they are. I don't know if they're going to really get much better. I think Orichi Long, you look at it, he gives up a lot of takedowns, but he also stuffs a lot. You know, he went 4 for 7 his last time out, but he gets up when he does. He just needs to be more active with his hands. Sometimes he'll land a shot and he watches his work a little bit. I don't really like that. You need to be more active. You need to throw a lot more volume out there. And Cody Gibson's a guy that can be hit. He's also a guy that likes to take the fight to the ground as well. He landed 5 takedowns against Brian Kelleher and ended up finishing down on the ground. But I don't know if his wrestling chops are all that good. I think both these guys are stuck in the way, and they're both very even. Obviously, you're seeing that with the line, but I'm going to go plus money on the Mongolian murder. I'm going to go Orichi Long, and obviously I'm taking that because I don't want him to come knocking on my door in the middle of the night because then I'll just shit my pants. So, and you know what they say, anybody that wears a funny hat like that, a little funny hat, you bet on them, right? They're undefeated. Not really. Don't fact check me, but they're undefeated. So give me your Orichi Long.
Orichi Long winless in 3 of his last 4, Ken Flo. He lost to Raul Rosas Jr. By unanimous decision at UFC 306 last September. He ends a year-long layoff Saturday night in Vancouver. Your thoughts?
Well, both these dudes are very mentally tough, very durable, very, definitely have big gas tanks as well. So, this is a tricky one. I think that Orichi Long is very dangerous with his hands. I think he's going to be the better striker for sure. Cody Gibson, though, has a style that can give him a lot of trouble. Archie Long isn't going to do a whole lot off of his back. I think that's where he may be for the majority of this fight. I'm leaning the way of Cody Gibson here.
Nice.
All right. New segment in honor of Yousri Prochazka. Our Let's Go For That fight of the week is this next one. Let's Go For That fight. 4 weeks before Valentina Shevchenko defends her belt against Zhang Weili, we got a huge fight, boys, in the women's flyweight division. This is an eliminator, to be sure. The recent world title challenger, Manon Fiorot, minus 250. Take it on Jasmine Jasudavicius, plus 205. So Fiorot, as you guys know, failed in her bid to become the undisputed champ in Montreal back in May. She had won 12 in a row, Kenny, going in. Now we see the extent to which she has improved and can respond against a streaking fighter in a very challenging matchup. Jasmine Jasudavicius. Ken Flo will lead off with you here. Jasudavicius plus 205. Fiorot is the minus 250 favorite. Who do you love?
This is a great fight. I think Fiorot is a fantastic striker. I think that's where she's definitely going to have the advantage, and she's really tough to take down. She's, tall for the division, very athletic, very strong, excellent kicks, and I think she's going to have to keep Jasmine on the outside. Jasudavicius is a fantastic grappler once she gets you to the ground, but I think that's what it's going to come down to. If she can hit those takedowns, I think she can give Manon a really tough time there. But obviously, when you're facing someone like Jasudavicius, that's what she's going to look for. So, as far as Fiorot able to get back to her feet, all that stuff, I think that's what she's going to be able to do. I think that Manon has faced tougher women, obviously, based on the fact that she fought for the title and has beaten some really high-level fighters. So I'm leaning towards the French woman here in Fiorot. And I think she gets it done. But it's tough for me because I'm a big Jazz Hands fan, dude.
Jazz Hands, man. I think a lot of people are going to be plucking down on Jasudavicius plus 205, Bri. She's won 5 in a row. She beat Andrade in 2 minutes and 40 seconds in UFC 315. She's a monster on the ground. A lot of good MMA wrestlers in this division. Valentina might be the best among them. But, dude, she's a problem. I thought this line was way wider than I expected upon hitting that application this morning.
Yeah, not to derail real quick question, John. That Yousri headband you have, is that something you can purchase or is that a John Anik exclusive?
He gave that to me in the fighter meeting, right?
That's so cool.
Let's fucking go for that, dude.
I love that.
Let's go for that.
I mean, I love it, bro.
Around the headset? Why not?
Why fucking not?
Why would you fucking not? Have we cussed enough for everybody today?
Oh, I'm a sailor. Jazz Hands plus 205 is just, I mean, you, as a guy who likes to play numbers a lot of times, just screaming at me.
Yeah, you're drooling. You're fucking salivating.
She's fucking big, physical, and she can stand up a little bit, but yeah, she's bread and butters on the ground, especially when she's on top. She's super heavy, and she's on a crazy win streak right now, dominating some high level women, and she's in Canada. I'm really liking a lot of the Canadian fighters on this card, minus Kyle Nelson. Sorry, Kyle Nelson, but I think Jazz Hands is going to get it done. Fiorot looked great against Valentina at the end. In the beginning, she got busted up a little bit. You're like, what's his game plan? She was getting stuffed on the takedowns, and then Valentina was like, oh no, I'm stronger than you, because Fiorot's been able to body people like Aaron Blanchfield. She proved I'm a big, strong woman as well. I think that's going to be a problem with Jazz Hands. I think Jazz Hands, Jasudavicius, I think she's the real deal. I think she's good. Everyone, did you guys just snicker at the way I said her last name? Because I thought I nailed it.
No. Just the
Johnny,
way you
snickered.
Jazz hands.
At the way we snickered in
right.
a positive way at you saying Jazz Hands, because you said it just so.
Because I heard
branded her Jazz Hands.
Yes.
So you said it so seamlessly.
She doesn't have a nickname, which needs to be a nickname, but I heard you besmirch me before I got on here. Like, Petrie could have probably hit a Jasudavicius.
I knew you were right there.
I know, brother. I love it, brother.
Bro.
I love it. And you're
Press
right.
is
I probably,
press,
you're right. I probably would have hit it with a Jasudavicius if I wasn't listening. But yeah, no. Listen, I like Jazz Hands. I like Jasudavicius here. I think she's prime. Plus 205. I think you're getting a great fucking number as well. Give me Jasmine.
All right, that is our Let's Go For That.
Yes.
Fight of the week brought to you by Yousri Prochazka. All right, we go from that to this. Featured bout of bantamweight, the oncoming Ayman Zahabi. Minus 125. Marlon Chito Vera, plus 105. Zahabi is now 37. Eked past Jose Aldo his last time out. Perhaps that's the wrong verb. It was a unanimous decision win. His 6th in a row. He's now number 9 in the world, facing the 7th-ranked former world title challenger, Marlon Chito Vera. Brian Petrie, lead us off on the bantamweights, if you would.
I love this fight for Amin Zahabi. I do. I think this is the right way. The UFC's giving him the right guys. And Marlon Vera, high-ranked guys, 1 million fights in the UFC, tough out. But his last time out with Marlon Vera was left to be desired. He only had 52 strikes, and that's his thing. He starts slow, and then maybe he builds up, but you can't start slow. If there was a 10-round fight or an unlimited round fight, Marlon Vera would probably be undefeated. But that's not the way this goes, right? This is 3 rounds. And Zahabi, to me, proved his toughness. A guy who doesn't know Zahabi like Kenny does, he got rocked bad by Jose Aldo, who's a pure finisher, regardless of his age, regardless of everything. That dude can fucking still crack, right? And he rocked Amin, and Amin battled back from that. Rocked him early, battled back from that, and won the fight clean, in my opinion. I know a lot of people have their opinions. I thought Zahabi won. He's a thinking man's fighter as well. He's got Faraz. They both have the mental for the game, which is unbelievable, and the skills. And Amin can really put some volume on guys as well. He's patient. He lures you in. He gets reads, but then he also throws. It's, you look at the stats and you're like, oh, wow, he only had 111 strikes in there. You almost don't really know how much he's throwing when he actually is throwing. He has all 3 layers as well: legs, body, head. He can touch you all up. And the big knock on Vera is obviously he starts slow, but also he struggles with wrestlers pretty badly. Amin, I don't think he's going to look for a takedown here. He can mix it up if he wants to. I think Amin's going to, I don't know if he's going to skunk him. I don't know if we're looking at a 30-27, but we're looking at a clean victory for Amin Zahabi here, and I'm pretty goddamn confident. And we're getting him at minus 125, which I absolutely love that number for him as well. So that's going to be a big play for me this weekend. I'm all over Zahabi. Yeah,
he doesn't always wow, but he certainly seems to always win, at least of late. On the other side, Chito Vera, 15-9, Kenny, in a UFC career that dates all the way back to 2014. He has lost 2 in a row, 3 of his last 4. Idle since a loss to Davison Figueiredo all the way back in August of 2024. Twice was in line to face Mario Bautista, pulled out of the rescheduled meeting due to an injury. Big spot for Chito as he vies to get back into contention. Ken Flo, your thoughts?
I think Chito's really tough. He's really durable, of course, and he's 1-3 in the last 4 fights. Now, you look at the guys that he's faced, all killers, no question about it. But I think where he falls short in a lot of those matchups is the lack of footwork. He's very flat-footed, and he's not able to match that ability to kind of get in when he needs to and get out when he needs to. And as Brian talked about, he is notorious for being a slow starter. That's not where you want to be here against Zahabi, who knows how to get in, get out, and he has an unorthodox rhythm to how he's able to get in. Then he'll rush you, he'll blitz you, then he'll kind of jab you. So he knows how to throw you off of your rhythm extremely well. He can also mix things up on the ground as well. He's got good takedowns. He's tough to take down. And I think they're taking this fight for a reason. Clearly, I'm biased here. Zahabi, Amin is like a little brother, but I do think this is a fantastic stylistic matchup for him. The Zahabis know exactly what they're doing here. Give me Amin.
Pretty close in terms of the number on DraftKings Sportsbook if you are inclined on either side. Marlon Chito Vera taking on Amin Zahabi. All right, co-main event at welterweight. I've just been excited to say this name in a Boston accent all day. Proper Mike Malott, minus 130. 15th ranked Kevin Holland, plus 110. Great fight, BP, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Should be high octane as long as it lasts.
Did you guys see his brother in the NHL get into a fight the other day?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was pretty awesome.
So cool. Yeah, not the first time they're fighting Malott, huh?
Yeah.
So, Brian, Malott nicely, I guess, has distanced himself from that Neil Magny result, as you would say, get Magny back in 2024. 2 straight wins, including a nasty stoppage of Chuck Buffalo, Charles Radke. So Malott now back, I guess, within striking distance of the top 15, and now the biggest test of his career to date against the well-versed Kevin Holland.
Yeah, sometimes getting Magny is what a guy needs, right? To get him off his snide, right? This was a guy who was kind of not fighting all that often, and he went against Neil, and that's what happened. But Mike Malott's got a lot of talent. He really does. And that camp that he's got in Canada, I mean, next to Faraz's camp, that camp is booming, right? They got some really good fighters coming out of there, and Malott being one of them. And I love his approach. He's very well-rounded. But enter Kevin Holland at plus money at 170. Kevin Holland at 170 is a very dangerous dude. He's the big guy at 170, right? He's tall, he's long. He doesn't really get body like he does at 85. But I just think Mike Malott, for whatever reason, has a step ahead over Kevin Holland here. I think Kevin's got some really good striking, and I think he can find some shots. He's a really good counter puncher. I think Malott's going to mix everything up and kind of shut Kevin down if it does go to the ground. I know Kevin Holland is a black belt. He's got some chokes, but when you avoid some of that stuff, I think Malott position over anything, and then he's going to chip away at Kevin Holland here. I wouldn't be surprised at any kind of finish. I would probably play double chance KO sub by Mike Malott, but I'm going to go Canadian boy. Let's go Canada. You need a guy. This is your guy, and I like him here. I think he's going to win, and I'm pretty confident as well. Feel confident in my picks today, Johnny.
Yeah, you sound great today. It's Columbus Day. Did you work today?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I mean, what can Brown do for you? We're here for you on Columbus Day.
That's right.
Obviously. They used to close some schools on Columbus Day.
My kids are off.
Your kids are off. How about that? Yeah, well, there you go.
Yep.
Ken Flo, 28th UFC appearance for Kevin Holland. It is interesting to think back to the Thiago Santos UFC debut in 2018, and now the guy's coming up on 30 UFC fights. We've seen them all. He's still clinging on to a welterweight ranking despite the loss to D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, back in July at UFC 318. Kevin Holland, Mike Malott. Who do you favor, Ken Flo?
Yeah, Kevin is one of those guys. He's hard to rely on, and it's tough because, man, is he talented, and he's got a long, lanky build for the welterweight division where he can cause a lot of damage. If he's on his game, guess what, guys? He wins this fight. But he's unreliable as far as his consistency of what Kevin Holland is going to show up. I have no idea. Now, Mike has to be very careful to not go out there and start trading, especially on the outside. Sometimes he'll try to take the hardest path to victory at times because he is so tough. He's got to play it smart here. Get in, get out, try to take it to the ground. Get to half guard, work his ground and pound, try to overwhelm Holland where maybe he can get a submission or get a TKO stoppage. I also think he can be very effective with his striking as well. He just has to be very smart about it. And if he does that, in Canada, I think Mike Malott gets it done.
Notice how
I like
Kenny and I drag out that extra syllable. Yeah, like the Bostonians that we are. Sometimes when the R comes on the end of a sentence, like we are, you don't say ah.
Yeah.
Or, car is actually in a Boston accent. I was thinking we could come up with a game where I give everybody on this show a list of fighters who either don't have nicknames or we think we could improve upon a nickname, and everybody's got to come to the table with a nickname. So I was just, again, I'm a fucking space cadet, but Mike, you must have forgot Malott, So we're gonna do that nickname game unless
what is it? What is his nickname?
That's
proper,
good.
Right?
Proper.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Joe Martinez being like, Mike must have forgot Malott?
Give him all you got, Malott.
Yeah, right.
By the way, Johnny, real quick before we get to the main event, I watched Naked Gun. I hadn't seen it. Naked Gun, fantastic stuff, buddy. Bruce Buffer getting into it as well. I didn't expect much, but that was cool.
Enjoy the tidy 84 minutes or so. It's a good film, huh?
It was a good film. My kids freaked out. They're like, "Oh my god, your friend is a movie star." I'm like, "He is." Yeah.
Well, I'll send you the clip later today of the deleted scene of me getting tackled. My stunt. They sent it to me, so I have the actual stunt that ended up on the cutting room floor.
That's really cool.
All right. I think that brings us to the main event, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure does.
We got a couple of top flight middleweight contenders. 4th ranked Reinier de Ridder, -185. Taking on 9th ranked Brendan Allen, +154. Yeah, like we could do better than all in for Brendan Allen. Maybe not. But he'll be stepping in here with the purple shorts, presumably, for Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Great performance, I thought, Ken Flo, for BA against Marvin Vettori in his native Louisiana. That was not all that long ago, back in mid-July. And for Allen, ever the active fighter, Kenny, he was not going to let this headlining opportunity pass him by, largely because RDA is all the rage right now. And if you beat that guy, you're on the short list for Khamzat Chimaev. What do you think about the main event, Ken Flo? Lead us off if you would.
This is very interesting. I agree with you, John, that Brendan Allen looked fantastic against Vettori. I thought his striking looked much improved, particularly his defense. He wasn't just kind of wildly throwing stuff, still taking some shots here and there, but man, he looked really sharp, especially with his jab and his footwork. You could tell that he's been working on his fundamentals, and that's always a good thing. And I think that if that Brendan Allen shows up, I think he could beat Reinier de Ridder. I really do. I think he's that talented. I think it's going to take a lot of discipline and composure. And for Reinier de Ridder, I think he did show some holes in his game against Whittaker. Now, of course, he's fighting Whittaker, but I don't love the fact that he strikes with that chin up. Now, he's extremely durable. He's extremely experienced, so he knows how to survive if he does get hurt. But I think Brendan Allen definitely has a shot not only winning this fight, but actually knocking him out. But Reinier de Ridder, he's a slick operator. He knows how to get to the clinch very well. And on the ground, I think he's going to be the better grappler and the better submission guy. Brendan Allen is no chump there, though, either. He knows how to survive. He's fought a variety of opponents, which is going to give him so much experience here. And I am a huge Reinier de Ridder fan. I do think that's the easy pick here. I'm not going to go with the easy pick, though. I'm going to go with Brendan Allen. I think he's poised for an upset win here in the main event. I think people are sleeping on Brendan Allen. I've seen improvements in Brendan Allen. And I know he's taking it on relative short notice, but it's coming off of a fight where he was in shape. Give me Brendan Allen here for the win.
Nicely laid out, Ken Flo. Reinier de Ridder's 4-0 in the UFC, coming off the 5-round split over Robert Whittaker back in July. And I think for a lot of fans, it would be fascinating to see how his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt would hold up in a potential title fight against Khamzat Chimaev. Of course, first things first, Bride. BA this weekend in Vancouver. De Ridder 35, Allen 29. And, you know, my research this morning suggests that Brendan Allen is really not that far removed from that 7-fight winning streak. You know it well because Chris Curtis was an opponent at one point in time. So that winning streak, Bri, ended 13 months ago, September of 2024 against Nassourdini Mavov. So already third fight of 2025, tons of UFC experience. Reinier de Ridder, Brendan Allen for you, kid.
Yeah, I love that Kenny went with Brendan Allen because I've been confident all card, right? I even just fucking said it last time. This is the fight where I'm going to throw the brakes up because I don't know. Because I have a feeling Brendan Allen can do a lot on the feet. RDR's hittable. He is. He's hittable. He's been put out. He's only lost to one man twice, and that was Malkin. That's a big boy. That's a big hitter. Brendan Allen's not a small guy. He's 6'2" for the weight. Problem is, RDR's 6'4", and he's giant for this weight class as well. And has Brendan Allen ever fought someone as big as him in this weight? I don't know. RDR, though, on the feet, I think is a liability. He's got his interesting way. He does hit hard. The knees to the body are obviously brutal. His clinch game's good, but he gets hit a lot. And Brendan Allen can put it on you. He landed over 100 significant strikes on Marvin Vettori. If Marvin Vettori didn't have that fucking block head, he probably would have been put out of there, you know? So it's interesting. As much as I want to go with Brendan Allen, I just think it's RDR's time right now. I really do. I think he's got a big man, Brendan Allen. I think we've seen Brendan Allen struggle with position on the ground against a guy like Anthony Hernandez. Brendan Allen's great on the ground, but is he as good to get up off his back this many times with this big dude on him? And the fact that RDA, who's been super active and cut weight as much as he can, this many times in a row at 185. I mean, it's remarkable, but I like RDR here. I think he's going to get it done. I don't know if he's going to finish him, but I love that pick by Kenny. This is going to be the one I'm going to let the people know listening and watching that come Thursday when I do my podcast, I could have switched my pick, right?
Ooh.
I'm early in the week right now. I've watched enough film and stuff, but I'm going to let everyone know this could be a pick switch. But I'm going to go right now as we're sitting here, RDR.
And that's a tease. If you want to see where this dude is later in the week, you go over to the MMA Takes podcast. All right, our final act is Place Your Bets, brought to you by johnanik.com, where you can get 15% off your podcast supporting merchandise order with promo code One More Sleep. I think UFC 320 might still apply as well. So for Place Your Bets next year, we're going 3 wide. Jason Anik will be a part of this process, right? And we're going to have real punishments.
Good.
For me, if 2 of the 3 of you end up in the black plus money for the year, I will grow out my hair. And I'm just telling you,
that's nice.
That's gonna. I'm gonna have to weigh 135 pounds to not look like the fattest fuck on the universe. Like I'm an acorn. Fucking chipmunk. So,
oh man.
And I don't know. Petrie's either going to shave his head. We'll respect Ken Flo's new hairline, but Kenny's probably going to have to shave his fucking beard if he loses next year.
Oh, come on.
Real punishments here. No, we'll have you guys sign contracts and you'll We'll figure out what the punishments are in advance, so it won't be coming up on you. We won't be deciding on the air.
I'm getting anxiety already.
But
no.
All right, that's fine.
Jason Anik, Brian Petrie, Kenny Florian will be doing Place Your Bets in 2026. As we update the standings, Brian Petrie did a 3-leg parlay on Charles Oliveira, Vicente Luque, and Montel Jackson. That did not hit.
Did not.
Kenny hit his straight wager on Charles Oliveira. Did not hit his straight wager on Montel Jackson, even though it was a split decision. So, I mean, Kenny's lead is pronounced.
Sure.
Petrie's number is so red, like I don't know what in the crayon box would actually be the color of rouge. So I don't know that we have to update the actual numbers, but I'll save them for next week. Let's see. Is Kenny still in the black for the year? Yes. No, he's not.
No. Yeah,
but
I'm down.
So
I'll be back.
All right, Kenny. Ooh, maybe if Kenny finishes in the black, I'll grow my hair out. See, I don't mind.
Let's go.
I'll wax my legs. I'll wax my legs. Remember that Super Bowl bet I had with Brian Stan back in the day, real quick? You know, Patriots Falcons Super Bowl, right? Loser had to get their legs waxed. He had the Falcons. I had the Pats. I'm sitting there. Pats are down 28-3. I'm like,
you're warm.
Thinking about how, I'm thinking about how much this is going to hurt. All I'm thinking about is the leg wax and not the Patriots getting down 28-3. And then they came back and B Stan in Kansas City had to get his legs waxed. And after about 40 minutes, he didn't seem to be in any pain. I just shut down the whole operation. I was like, this Marine is too tough for this exercise. Let's go. Brian, you got $1,000.
Yeah.
Deficit is pretty large. What are we doing this weekend? My man.
Sure. So I'm glad you brought up the punishment. Listen, unless some fucking miracle happens, I'm not catching Kenny. And I've had a bad year. And I floated this out probably a year and a half ago. It's already settled. It's already done. I'm going to take a bottle to the fucking head on camera. And
I'm going to do it with you, right?
You don't have to, Johnny. It's up to you. I'm going to take a bottle to the fucking head. I'm going to film it. I'm going to send it to you guys. We'll put it on the podcast. That's happening. That's already set in stone, right? So right now, you know what? You know, I want to play loose. I want to play fast. I want to win some money. I want to try to cut the nut. I'm not giving up. I'm not a quitter. I never have. So, you know, Garth Brooks has a song, you know, we got friends in low places. So we got two friends on the podcast. Let's go Zahabi. Let's go Frevola. That's a parlay. It's plus 231. Give me the 1,000 on it. Let's go. Need my friends, baby.
Look at this guy.
Need my friends.
All right. 2-leg slight favorite parlay for Brian Petrie. And if you're going to crack a bottle over your head, what we're really going to do is have you do it live on the podcast with a medic standing by. We're not going to film this.
Well, I didn't want to. I was going to do it in my garage.
I
was going to do it in my garage because I don't want to get glass in here because my dog always comes in here. So I was going to do it in the garage. But yeah,
no, you're going to do it right there, and the dog will.
The dog will have to just deal with it.
Hurry up and deal with it. Yeah,
he's old anyway.
But no, I mean. Yeah, we'd have to have a medic on by, but I guess if you do it like up on your hairline, you probably minimize the risk. But
no, you got to do it.
We have to make sure you're mic'd up appropriately for that.
Yeah, it's been years since I've done it, but the sweet spot's the top of the head.
All right,
yeah,
okay.
Top of the head. That was my party trick. That was my party trick. So the top of the head, and you gotta hold the bottle a certain way. I know people say put rocks in it, but it's like a baseball, right? So where let's just say the Bud Light label is. You crack it, boom, right there, shatters every time. Gives your ears a little ringing, but you're good, man. You're good.
That was
I told my wife
trick.
That was my part. I didn't have anything else. I can't sing.
Amazing.
You know, I can't play guitar. It's like, hey, let me get drunk enough, smash a fucking bottle over, man.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I had a lot of forgettable party tricks back in my day.
I wish I had more.
Flo, you got $1,000 at your disposal.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple, dog. I'm gonna put a rack on Ayman Zahabi.
That's my guy.
Ayman
nice.
Zahabi, yeah.
Nice.
Let's go.
1, yeah, let's go. Hey, Bri.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, my man.
One quick thing, Johnny.
Yeah.
I should have sent you an email. I apologize. My guy that I sponsor, Hunter Frazier, second pro fight. He's 1-0 this weekend. Newport Pavilion, Ohio Combat League, the best promotion in Ohio running right now. Second pro fight, baby. So let's go, Hunter Frazier, another KO.
Let's go, H-Man.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go, H-Man. Thanks, Brian.
See you, boys.
Brian Petrie, chief handicapper on the Anik and Florian podcast with us every week. And thanks to all of you loyalists out there who join us for this program every week. A lot goes into it behind the scenes. And even though we have a lot of fun, we appreciate every last one of you. And our commitment to this program and the content is unwavering going into 2026. Thanks to Longo. Thanks to Mero. Thanks to Petrie. Thanks to Jason, Anik, and everybody else for putting this show together. Everybody at DraftKings. We are with you Sunday morning. We are easy like Sunday morning on October 19th. If you're looking to run clock before football, we will be there to recap the ever-living daylights out of Reinier de Ridder and Brendan Allen, and that is about 6 days from now. With that, for Ken Flom, John Anik, thanks for watching and listening. We will talk to you on Sunday morning. Until then, yo fucking later.
Kenny Florian, I got him, baby. Okay? 14 years later, 13 years later, we did it. Okay? Kenny, I got you.
I love this shit.